Most of us grew up hearing that white bread is bad, so we switched to honey wheat or multigrain, thinking we were doing our bodies a favor. But have you ever wondered, why does that loaf stay fresh for 3 weeks?
Okay, so everyone in the US is showing how their bread does not dissolve underwater and is pretty much rubber.
This individual ends up running the bread underwater to see how it reacts, right? These companies are putting crazy dough conditioners into these breads. The damn loaf, the damn piece of bread isn't even deteriorating. It's not even breaking. And it's absolutely insane.
75% of breads just tested positive for glyphosate. Glyphosate is a probable carcinogen and damages 55% of your gut.
Commercial bakeries sometimes use chemical dough conditioners. Like, why the hell are we even putting chlorine in any bread?
Today, we're stepping away from the industrial bread cycle, and I'm showing you how to make bouncy, soft, nutritious sandwich bread in your own kitchen that not only tastes better, but costs less. Let's fix your sandwich bread. Okay, first, we have to talk about how sandwich bread actually makes it to your pantry. In a factory, the production phase only takes about 3 to 5 hours. To move that fast, they have to use high-speed mixing, and because those machines are so powerful, they have to add dough conditioners like datum, or the one I struggle to say, azodicarbonamide, just so the dough survives the machinery. That also sounds like a Marvel supervillain.
That was the plan. Not a great plan.
For decades, the industry has prioritized shelf life and speed over our digestion. They also use things like calcium propionate to prevent mold. We're going to use a splash of apple cider vinegar as a natural dough conditioner. Just know this, commercial bread isn't designed to be good for you. It's designed to be durable. So when we bake at home, we are trading that durability for quality. So let's go over what you're gonna need to make homemade sandwich bread. Flour, a sweetener, I'm using cane sugar, salt, yeast, plant milk, I'm using soy, a neutral oil, and apple cider vinegar. Okay, let's dig into the bowl. We start with the dry foundation. Flour, we're using instant yeast, and salt. Give it a good whisk. Well, give it a larger whisk to get everyone introduced. Now, the wet ingredients. You've got choices, water or plant milk. Water is free, which is great if you're on a budget, but I prefer using a blend, with most of it being plant milk. You see, plant milk is going to help enrich the bread with things like protein and calcium, which not only helps the structure, but is perfect for parents with some picky eaters. Use a thermometer here. We want the plant milk to be between 105 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. If it's too hot, you'll kill the yeast, ending the journey before it begins. Keep it warm like a cozy bath. Then add in your warm water, neutral oil, a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. The acidity strengthens the protein that acts as a natural dough conditioner for a finer crumb. And follow that up with sugar. Give that a good mix before we move on to the next step. All right, let's pour the wet ingredients into the dry. We're going to stir this. I'm using a wooden spoon, and we're gonna keep bringing it together until a shaggy dough forms. Add a little oil to your hands, and this is a little trick that will help prevent any dough from sticking to it. As now, we're going to begin kneading the dough by hand. For me, I like to start kneading right in the bowl. It keeps the flour off the counter, and it's like one less place to clean up. It's a little tougher because you are kind of doing it one-handed, but I go until it's mostly together. And then at that point, I'll move it onto the counter. Give this a solid 6 to 10 minutes of physical energy. But listen, easier said than done, especially if you've been shoveling like 2 feet of snow over the past few days. Have you ever done pottery? It's kind of like that. You're kneading just makes your forearms, they're just on fire. I love throwing, by the way. So if you haven't done it, you should try it. All right, back to the dough. And to know when you're done, you can do a few tests. One is visual, where the dough looks soft, supple, and smooth. From there, I typically go with the spring test. Here's how you do it. You push your finger into the dough. If it leaves an imprint, you gotta keep going. But if it bounces back or springs back, you've developed the gluten needed for your bread shape and structure. Grease that same bowl. From there, you're gonna take your dough ball and place it into the grease bowl for the first rise. This rise takes an average from 60 to 75 minutes. Visually, it'll be doubled in size. You can see here, I'm using plastic wrap, but this is because I want you to see the magic happen. But usually, I'd say skip the plastic. Also, I've had like the same plastic wrap for like 8, 10 years now. Once it's doubled, we get to my favorite part, punching the dough down. Once the dough deflates, remove it from the bowl and get it back onto the counter. I like to start out by shaping this into a square before I even start rolling. This way, once I start going, I already have the foundation that I'm looking for. And using a rolling pin, go after it to stretch it. Once it's a bit flattened out, flip it over. You want the smoothest side on the outside of your loaf. Roll this up tight like a cinnamon roll. Then pinch the seam shut. From there, you want the seam side down. So flip it that way and then tuck it into your greased bread pan. Using that same plastic I had earlier, I'm going to cover it for a second rise. This rise takes about 30 to 45 minutes. And visually, we want to see it just about an inch above the rim of our bread pan. From here, let's check on it. Mine's, I let rise a little too long, so you can see a small tear, but that's okay. It starts to give more of that artisan vibe. So from here, it's uncovered, and we're gonna head on over to the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 31 to 37 minutes. I know, those are some weird numbers, but I like it. Okay, so while we wait for our dough to finish up in the oven, I wanna talk about generally paying attention to your dough rising. I gave some averages for your first and your second rise, but again, those are just averages. If you have a really warm home, for example, those averages can get a bit tighter. On the other end, those wait times can grow pretty significantly if your home is a bit colder. So, as long as your yeast is good, then be patient, and your dough should do what it does. Okay, our bread is out the oven. From here, we're going to brush it with a bit more oil for that signature finish. Also, you should probably brush it with oil after you take it out of the loaf pan, not before, like I did. Look at that. No bleaching agents, no high fructose corn syrup, just a golden, fluffy, delicious loaf bread. See? There's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out there with my name on it. Now, considering the math of this all, the total average cost, I would say, for the bread I just showed you how to make is about $1.75 to $1.90. Now, I totally understand you can get store-bought bread for probably the same price and maybe sometimes even cheaper. But there's 2 things I want you to consider. 1, we didn't use all of our ingredients. So we could make bread a bunch more times, 9, 10, double-digit more times. Number 2, and 1000% the most important one, what are you willing to pay for good health? If baking your own bread can keep one less Marvel supervillain out of your digestive system, it might be worth it. This full recipe can be found linked in the description, or you can head right on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. And until next time, believe in good. Peace.